Cassie, can you hear me?
Shut up, Gregory. Nobody cares about you.
Gregory, I shut down all the security nodes. I'm in the Roxy party garage. Am I close?
Almost. There's still one node left that's keeping the underground sealed.
Where?
Roxy's the final node. You need to deactivate her.
But...
Deactivate her and save me. Save me,
Save me, Cassie.
Please.
It's so dark down here. Shut up, Gregory. Nobody likes you. Nobody. Like, I don't even care that you're not Gregory. The real Gregory needs to hear this too. Nobody likes you. You just kill things. You just kill everything. Anything that was ever in your path, you killed. Like, you just brutally murdered the animatronics. You freaking brutally try to murder Cassie for no reason. Oh, we can't risk being followed. Like, what? How would you be followed? And, like, do you think that Cassie's gonna follow you too? Like, I don't understand where the logic... Why is it saving? All I did was go over here. No clue. Anyway, it's so... Gregory, you're like just a stone-cold, merciless killer. You're like a demon child, dude. You kill more kids than Afton does, bro. I swear. Anyway, theorizing. I feel like everything is solved except Freddy. Like, most people agree that the Princess Quest ending is at least important. You know, maybe not everybody's on board with it being canon. People still are hanging on to Afton and whatever. And I've seen some wild theories that people, I just don't understand sometimes why they're thinking the way they are. But, and I was practically losing an argument with an internet stranger on Reddit, and I was honestly scared. I was like, uh-oh, I'm gonna lose. And even though I was losing, I still think I'm right. Like, they were coming up with great points as to why the Afton ending is canon, and as to why Princess Quest ending was not. And they were some very good points, and I was like, wow, this person did their research. I did not. Like, this person was pulling up, like, they were like, well, you know, in the files, you know, this thing is called this. I'm like, bro, I haven't seen a single video on Ruin. I haven't seen a single playthrough, a single analysis. Like, I haven't seen anything from it besides what I've experienced. And I don't have a PC, so I can't go into the game files. I can't hack in and see weird things. Like, I only know what I've seen. And, you know, this person just did their research. So I was like, you know, look. Probably answer all of these questions, but I just, you know, it was a spontaneous argument. I wasn't going to take a 4-hour break in the middle of the argument to be like, hold up, let me research. But yeah, there were good points that I just didn't think about. And like I said, it wasn't one of those things where it was like unanswerable. Like, I don't think I was stumped. I just think I simply just didn't have enough information to answer. And I feel like if I had just done a little more research, I would have had enough information. One of their big points was, why is everything purple? They believe that Afton and the Mimic both exist and are separate from each other and are like working differently. Like, they're not, I don't know. That like Afton was the one doing the controlling of Vanessa and the Mimic was just there to like kill people. I don't know what they were trying to say, but it didn't make sense to me at all. And then like the one time I asked them one single question, arguing an argument 101, which is, if they just keep questioning you and not actually backing anything up, just question them back, and then everything folds. That's exactly what was happening. I was against the ropes because they just kept questioning me and just like bombarding me with questions about stuff that I didn't have answers to, and I was answering them the best I could, but I obviously was, you know, scared, and you could tell that I wasn't fully aware of what I was saying, and you know, wasn't the best answers I could be giving. And I was like, screw this. This guy is like being so on the offense right now, and I'm just stuck on defense. And I was like, I asked him one question. I don't know, them, not him. I asked I asked them one question, and then they were like, "Uh-oh," and they gave me some garbage answer, and I was like, "So this person doesn't know what they're talking about either. They're just simply questioning. It's easy to question. It's harder to come up with the answer." And I was like, "If this person can't even answer the question I'm asking them, I can't say that whatever they're doing is valid." But it was a good argument, I will admit. They were saying things that I never thought of. The main one being,
Remember me?
why are all of the animatronics broken if the Princess Quest ending is canon? To which doesn't exist. They were trying to claim that the Mimic and Gregory were like a fusion, and they were like one and the same. It was weird. And I was like, well, yeah, the Mimic is mimicking Gregory, but it isn't Gregory. And they were like, no, it's not, I don't know. They were pulling like file names, and I was like, oh god. So yeah, that's a great question. Why are all of the animatronics ruined or shattered? That's a great question. So yeah, I went through like every scenario. I was like, well, maybe this happened, maybe this happened, maybe this happened, maybe that happened. And like, I just kind of like kept giving trashy answers, but they were still answers. And they just continued to like just destroy everything I was saying. I was like, God, just let me have something, jeez. Like, and they were for some reason assuming that destroying Monty is the first thing you do. They were like, well, you know, why would Gregory destroy Chica's voice box after beating Princess Quest? There's no reason. I was like, well, in my case, I've always done Chica first and saved Monty for afterwards because I always thought the Monty boss fight was hard. So in my case, he'd be having to go back for Monty. And if you look at it that way, we don't really have evidence that Monty's claws were stolen. He's just completely destroyed. So that could have just happened with the collapse of the Plex. But I don't know. It was a great question. I was like, maybe they just came back and destroyed everything. Because the person was like, you know, well, they were obviously down there, and you need all the upgrades to get down there, so there's no way they just left. And the point I'm trying to make, that I don't think they were understanding, which is why I was saying that there was multiple endings are canon.
Welcome back.
Right? So I think that Gregory goes through security breach, he does the Princess Quest ending, and then they come back, right? They don't leave right away. They might just like leave, reassess, and then they come back, and that's when they do the quote-unquote Afton ending, but Afton isn't there. I think everything else is pretty much the same, but I think it's the Mimic instead, right? I think they go down, they see the Mimic. I don't think that they see the Blob or the Tangle or whatever it's called. I don't think that, you know, that's what they saw. But they did see the Mimic. They sealed it up. Vanessa coded the Mexis, which may or may not also include code from Glitch Trap, because Glitch Trap might exist, question mark, possibly. I don't know. But whatever. Vanessa did code the Mexis to stop the Mimic from escaping. And, you know, that just was what they did down there. But it was after Princess Quest. And then they went back up. Pizzaplex collapsed. They went on their way. And I think that is what happened. And that seems to be not completely out of the question. You know, multiple endings being canon isn't necessarily a new like kind of concept. I mean, you know, we have FNAF 3 where like both endings are kind of it's in the gray area. You know, we got Sister Location where obviously the entered ending where you escape is, you know, it's not canon, but the cutscenes that you get for doing like custom night, which isn't canon, those cutscenes are canon. And like the bunker, right, the Sister Location bunker 1983 Psychic Friend Fredbear, that's all canon, right, but just not the actual ending, you know. So things like that Or like in FNAF 6, there's multiple endings. Yeah, only one is correct, but the other ones give you lore that is true to the story. You know, so like they're all they have meaning. Right? Just because they didn't all happen doesn't mean that they they don't exist. And that's what I was trying to say, which is like I'm not saying that the whole Afton thing doesn't exist. I'm just saying that it didn't happen the way that it does in the game. Right, that's all I was trying to say, and I think that person wasn't understanding. Because, yeah, it's a great question. Why are all the animatronics ruined? I just think they come back and just finish the job. I mean, Gregory is pretty violent. And, like I said, I wouldn't put it past him to just come back and kill everything. So, yeah, that's like the only thing. I thought Tails was canon to the games. I thought I responded to that. I could have sworn I responded to that. Am I stupid? Just let me wait. No, hold on. Okay. I could have sworn I responded to that. I'm just gonna say I don't think so. Roxy, I don't want to. I don't want to. People are assuming that the Tales from the Pizzaplex is canon, and I don't know how I feel about that. Because that would make Edwin literally be the creator of the Mimic, so there's some random guy named Edwin out there if Tales is canon, which is just, I refuse to believe. I refuse to believe that any of the books are canon. They might have parallels, which is what I was trying to say, but I doubt that they're 100% canon. Although there was a little bit where I did think that Tales from the Pizzaplex was and nothing else was, just because it's called Tales from the Pizzaplex. I mean, come on. But I don't know. And the whole Gregory Patient 46 thing, now I honestly don't know. Like, it could have been something else at this point. I really don't know. Because Gregory seems to be chill. Like, if the good ending is canon, he seems to be fine. Like, just being, you know, there with Vanessa and Freddy and not trying to kill anybody. But that, I honestly just think that all of that just, like, is not a matter anymore. Like, you don't hear anybody talking about Gregory being a robot or Patient 46. It's all about, you know, what's happening with the Mimic and Afton. The next thing is, honestly, an even harder question to answer, which is the Freddy thing.
Your special day.
Which I have no clue.
Cassie?
I'm sorry, Roxy.
What are you doing?
I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Why'd they have to make it so easy?
So sorry.
I love
You don't die anyway.
Happy birthday, Cassie.
Roxy,
You're fine, Roxy.
I'm sorry.
You're fine.
Sorry.
You're fine. Somebody tried. They were trying to theorize that that Cassie was the crying child, and it was a theory. You know, it was a theory, but I don't know how I feel about that. You can't. Okay. Oh, that's what I was talking about. The argument with that person. They were saying, why is everything purple when you put on the mask if Afton isn't there? To which I responded, you know, and very reasonably, everything is purple when you put on the mask. Like, literally everything. Are you telling me that Afton is somehow controlling a poster? No, he's not. Everything's just purple. That just happens to be the color that things are, you know? The Mexis is also kind of purple. Yeah, he's blue, but you know what I mean? He's not Afton. Like, literally everything is purple when you put on the mask. Even the mask symbol is purple. So, like, I doubt, you know, I think it's just spooky color. I don't know. Moody lighting. Doesn't seem like it's necessarily because of Afton or anything. I still want to know if Freddy was lying or not, because he says, I'm afraid that this can only take one trip down, and then proceeds to take it down. So that was another reason why I thought that the Princess Quest ending was canon, but then I don't know anymore. Because then there's that other elevator, because we go deeper here than you ever do in Security Breach. You don't go below the Afton fight, but it happens here. And like this doesn't exist. You know, it's we go this way. So this was done afterwards. And to me, it would seem that this was Gregory, Freddy, and Vanessa that came down here to put an end to things. I don't think they were trying to free the Mimic. They were just trying to get back down to stop him, you know? And I was trying to, because this person was so, like, obsessed with Burn Trap still being a thing, I was like, then why isn't he in Ruin? Like, everything, you know, would point to him being in the game if he was. Just like how it did in Security Breach. Everything pointed towards Afton, kind of. And then, what do you know? It was him, you know. Surprise, surprise. It actually was surprising for some people, but still, it wasn't very, wait, why do I still have my flash? Okay. Surprised when Afton came back. But for him then to not be in this game at all, or DLC or whatever you want to call it, is honestly weirder than him, you know, than if he was in here. Like, there's no... I always say there's no evidence of the Afton fight, even though you go to the location, but there isn't really any evidence of the Afton fight. You know, like, there's not... Yeah, the charging stations are there, but that's it, really. There's not any actual hard evidence. You don't see any evidence of Afton actually being there. But you do see the blob. Apparently the blob is in this game. I don't know where. I don't know how, but it is. So that means that the blob, or the tangle, or whatever, is canon. And I feel like they specifically didn't show Burn Trap to show that he just simply doesn't exist. There's also something weird with Baby, but I don't know what it is. I feel like people aren't drawing that connection that I've been drawing since before Security Breach came out. Hi, Candy Cadet. Where are we? Like, this isn't the FNAF 6 location. This is like the non-sketch way of going down the path that Freddy cleared. Right, so this is the Afton ending, pretty much.
Why are there burners everywhere? It's like the inside of an oven.
See, the fact that these are still active tells me that, like, this isn't, you know what I mean? Like, while things are burnt in here, things also aren't that burnt in here. You know, like, look, computer screen, not cracked. You know, like, vent seems fine. That's not broken. Like, things aren't broken. So I don't think this is the room where you play as Gregory. Because you go down, yeah. So now we're officially going further down than you've ever been. So like that literally shows that Gregory and Vanessa and whoever did have to come back to do this, because in the ending you don't see them go lower. And this backpack apparently says Gregory. I can't see it. Well, I can see the letters, but I can't actually read it. Which, I mean, when I saw this, I assumed that meant that they were down here somehow. Also, where did he get the backpack from? Like, he didn't have it in security breach, which is even further evidence that they came back here at a later time. And, like, look how, like, I don't know, kind of old everything is. And then you just have weird crypt in the middle of it. That's glowing purple. So this, I would assume, this is the glitch trap. No longer a virus, but this is just the glitch trap program. This is the like response to the mimic program. Right, this is, you know, whatever the glitch trap was, which we assume was an extension of this mimic. So, like, the way I see it, multiple things could exist at once, right? Like, the mimic could have existed, gotten a circuit board taken out of it and scanned in, been glitch trap, and the mimic. You know, it didn't have to be one or the other. It can very well be both. So while the mimic was, you know, kind of the thing that was technically pulling the strings, glitch trap was still, you know, putting the work in. And, you know, glitch trap was, you know, corrupted everything, the animatronics, and why they were a little more aggressive than usual. But it seems that glitch trap is still, like, I don't know. I would assume this was put in after security breach. But at the same time, it, you know, it seems like it's been down here for a little bit, but I don't know. The common consensus is that Vanessa made this somehow, and that she, like, used her coding abilities that she does have, according to FNAF AR, I think. Or it might be the therapist meetings, I don't know. What the heck? Weird. Yeah, and she, like, reworked the glitch trap code to do this. Because the glitch trap code, for all intents and purposes, was just the security protocol gone a little wrong, you know? And this is the security protocol gone right. Right, with the Mexis, which I'm trying to figure out what it stands for. I'm thinking of, like, the mimic something entrapment system. And then somebody tried to make the point that it ends with, it's called the Mexis Security Program, so it doesn't make sense to have system at the end of it, but I think that it's still valid to call it system. At first I thought it was like mimic something extermination or eradication, but I like entrapment better since that's literally what they're doing. It's meant to trap the mimic, not necessarily destroy it. Which is weird, right? Why wouldn't they destroy it? Why would they keep it? Right? It has to be somewhat important because they felt the need to not destroy it. Yeah, so the X word, many people thought maybe it's one, like, it doesn't start with X, it's like an EX word. People thought maybe that the M and the X was just one long word or something like that, which is like it stood for like maximum or something. Someone thought mimic, like xenomorphic or something, entrapment system. I think it might be mimic Cyan entrapment system. I think the word Cyan that I'm looking for, which means like immortal, pretty much. Cyan means like old, immortal, kind of not godlike, but sort of like that, like you know, just ever living. Which is kind of what the mimic and Afton, what their whole thing is. Afton wanted to live forever. He wanted eternal life. The mimic, you know, while not Afton, is still kind of giving him eternal life in the fact that the mimic is kind of like not a clone of Afton, but trying to be him. It's trying to replicate. Right? So that, you know, in a way is kind of giving him eternal life. But also Zayan is the most freaking far out word you could think of. It's probably not it. It's probably something simple. But yeah, it could just make sense. Also, Gregory says that it's been down here a quote-unquote really long time, whatever that means. Really long could be 2 weeks, really long could be 200 years. I don't know. When he says really long, that makes me think like FNAF 6 era, like really, really long time. Especially since it's way down here. Usually the deeper underground, the older the thing is. Right? So I would assume it's been down here a really long time, as in FNAF 6. But I don't know. Definitely before Security Breach. Definitely for as long as the Pizzaplex has been a thing. Because all of the voice lines that it has of Gregory are from the entire game of Security Breach. So it was listening and spying the entire time. That's why whenever you put on the mask, there's a lot of eye imagery everywhere. Just a lot of eyes looking at you, blinking, all of that. And it's to symbolize the mimic and how it's watching your every move and listening. And that's how it was able to replicate Gregory. But I don't know, like, I don't understand how old it would be and for how long it was trapped down here, because if it was found during, like, the Pizzaplex's construction, surely it would have been taken out, right? Unless this is truly like the Tales book, and they tried to use it to help, and it went haywire, and they were like, no, let's just keep it down here, bury it, pretend it doesn't exist. But it just kind of kept going, which, maybe. Also, I just realized how old everything is here, and how this piece of equipment looks pretty new, and is from the new and improved Fazbear. Whatever, is it an LLC now? I don't know. Right, like, this is obviously new tech, versus everything else being pretty old. The security door also looking old. Right, which tells me that this is new. This wasn't always down here. This is probably what dug all of these holes, and it's probably what Vanessa, Gregory, and Freddy came in on. That's another thing. Freddy. There's the prototype Freddy, and it's throwing everybody for a loop. Most people are just assuming that it's our Freddy. I don't think that, because our Freddy doesn't have the word prototype on his foot. Like, they very obviously put that on his foot. And our Freddy doesn't have a present in his stomach. The first thing we do as Gregory is take the present out of his stomach. It's the Faz Watch. Right? And there's no way that when he was buried under Fazer Blast, just magically a present was there. And it's like, that's not what would happen. Also, Freddy's consciousness should be in his head. Right? Because we were able to take off his head and he's still, like, sentient. Right? So why is his body able to just move? But at the same time, that Freddy is in Fazer Blast, which is where we last saw Freddy. It's also missing its head, just like how we take off Freddy's head in the good ending. So there's parallels there, and I'm just not sure. Many people think it's like a body double situation, which is the obvious answer and kind of a cop-out, but it's just hard to explain when it would happen. Right? Some people were trying to say that, like, the Freddy that we see in the Vanny endings is just not our Freddy. But that isn't true, because he's like, you're my superstar when he dies. Right? So that's not true. It is our Freddy. But also, some people think it's the other way around, and maybe that was the real Freddy that got, whatever, crushed. Or not crushed, but got just another Freddy was just there. I don't know. The thing that I think most likely happened was they did attempt to rebuild. Obviously it's like under construction, come back soon. Like, they did have an intention to rebuild the Plex, and they maybe tried to use animatronics to help them. That's a valid point. And maybe they made a Freddy and it just didn't work out. I don't know. I have no clue. I think that maybe if Gregory was like a genius, same with Freddy, they like put his consciousness into a different Freddy, knowing that he would probably get destroyed in the Vanny ending. Or something like that, so that when he did die, they could take off his head and attach it onto the original Freddy that's upgraded. Which, you know, is actually, hold on. Vanny ending. Let's look up Vanny cutscene. That's a really good point. That's a super good point. But I have to make sure it's actually true before I do anything. Nope, okay. Nope. Weird. Seems like canonically you're supposed to have done Monty first. Okay. That's weird. Okay, let's just look at the Freddy thing. There he is. But his eyes are normal, and his claws are different. Okay. Hold on. That's weird. That's weird. That's okay. That's actually okay. That wasn't exactly what I was wanting, but still. I was thinking that maybe the Freddy in the cutscene wouldn't have claws or special eyes, and I was going to say, look, it's not the real Freddy. But the Freddy in the comic ending doesn't have Monty's claws. His hands are just gone. They're just endo hands. And his eyes are blue. So I don't know what happened there. Maybe it really was a different Freddy. Or maybe there was two. I have no clue. But that Freddy did not have special eyes and did not have special claws. Yeah, I don't have an answer for the prototype one, because technically the real Freddy's body should also be there. Unless they did the Afton ending first, and then like something happened and then they did the it's just, it doesn't make sense. That's also a thing, is which order was it in? I would assume the Princess Quest ending happened first, and then they escape, and then they come back, and they do the Afton ending. The Mimic ending, not Afton anymore. They go underground. Because Vanessa seems to know about the Mimic, because she installs the Mexis security program into the Vanny mask. I'm assuming she created the Vanny system. People also see the Vanny graffiti, and they're like, look, that's proof that she wasn't saved. To which I say, do you realize how many rabbit mascots there are in the FNAF universe? Like, some random person could have done that. Also, the Vanny mask. Like, this is a mask that exists, that is worn among the phasticians, or phas technicians. What are they called? Phas technician, right? Like, so they must be regularly worn, which means that people must have seen them, like, on a regular basis, which means that she was a character that kind of sort of existed, right? So people could have just drawn it. That simple. Right? Like, you know what I mean? They could have just copied what they saw. It's not that big of like a deal that there's Vanny graffiti. Now, the rabbit imagery, that one's hard. Right? So what I thought happened was that they were like just kind of cosmetic things, like the music men, the music mans, the music. If its name is Music Man, so if there was multiple, it would be Music Mans because the name is Music Man, right? Like that's the full name. If his name was just like Music and we were just calling him Music Man, then it would be Music Man. So the Music Mans, they're all different, and some of them have rabbit ears, and I thought it was like they were wearing something, but it's actually just their head was peeled forward to like give themselves the kind of aesthetic of having rabbit ears. Same with the mask bot. Also, one of them, it's kind of split out in the triangles to look like the daycare attendant. So I don't know who did that. That's a great question. Maybe Vanessa did it, or maybe Vanny did it when she was still Vanny. I don't know. I have no clue. But yeah, it... Oh, also, which this ties into what I was going to say before, which I was just going to say that Vanessa seems to have knowledge of the Pizzaplex. But yeah, also, somebody pointed out that in the Spanish translation of Ruin, subtitles. But if you look at it, when Gregory says, my friend, she's like, my friend knows or has a hidden map or something, and then he's like, just follow blank instructions, and it, it statics out whether it's his or her, so you don't know if he's talking about Freddy or Vanessa. Apparently, the when he says friend, the Spanish translation has it as amiga, which would be female. Right, so that's kind of evidence that he's talking about Vanessa, not Freddy. Which is just something that you would never know if you, like, just did it in English. Like, it's such a weird thing. Especially because if you said amigo, it could very well all just be both, Like, you could talk about, for all intents and purposes, you could still talk about a woman and say amigo. But the fact that it was specifically the feminine, I forgot what it's called. Not suffix, but, like, version of the word, means that whatever friend he was talking about is female, which would most likely be Vanessa, which would be more evidence that the good ending is canon. Everything is pointing towards that fact. I don't know why people are so unwilling to, like, actually just embrace that. But yeah, so really the only, like, two big kind of lingering things are why did Gregory destroy all of the animatronics if he didn't have to? Right? Like, why steal Chica's voice box and Monty's claws and stuff if he didn't have to? Well, one of them, apparently the Monty claws are the canon option. But also Chica's voice box, because in Ruin you can... But that's the thing, isn't it? Right? That's the thing. You get Chica's voice box for beating Chica's feeding frenzy. Unless there's multiple, which, I mean, let's be honest, there probably is, but why does beating an arcade machine give it to you, right? That seems like something, unless Gregory just put it there or something, I don't know. That was the side thought. Anyway, the other question is Freddy. Right? Why is there another Freddy there with the word prototype on his foot? And I don't know. It's a great question. I have no clue. I'll probably do some more browsing on Reddit to figure out. Since MatPat is still playing through the game and apparently sucks at, like, doing things correctly. Like, I don't think I had a single screw up in my playthrough where, like, I skipped a section or something. Although what I did see that I didn't get that some people did is when one of the staff bots like lurches out at you, like falls over. I got I remember because I thought it was funny. He was like, "Do you need assistance? Do you need assistance?" And I was like, "Yes, staff bot, I need assistance. Go find Gregory for me." Apparently, it can also say, "Cassie, Cassie, are you there? Like, are you okay? Are you there?" And in Gregory's voice, which is just crazy, right? Like, that's such an important thing that you'd think would be important to hear, but apparently it's only on select playthroughs. Like, if I play through it again, I might get it, I don't know. But many people have kind of speculated that that is the real Gregory, right? That's the real Gregory, because he claims that he's been trying to get through to you all night. And the mimic seems to only be talking through your walkie-talkie and stuff, or your Roxy-talkie, and, you know, through the mask. So it would make sense for Gregory to just be trying through any means possible to get through to you, and him using the stat bot. Because the words don't sound like they were kind of like sewn together. They actually sound normal. And I think they're new voice lines too. So yeah, that to me makes sense. That like it was Gregory, but I don't know. Gregory just straight up trying to kill us. It's crazy. I assume we live just because we hear Roxy say Cassie, but whatever, I don't know. I'm gonna do this beforehand, so they don't gotta do anything. Sick, alright. Okay, I don't want to... There's just like, I don't know, there's something else here, and I need to know what it is. I wonder if the Mexus can even get me. Can't hear. The Mexus. The Mimic. X. Like, what would it be? I feel like the only reason that they put the X there was just to throw off people. You know, like, like that's the only reason. I also think that maybe, just maybe, the M could stand for Michael. But I doubt it. I doubt it. I really wish that Michael was still alive. Just because, you know, if they're going to bring back everybody else, you might as well bring back Michael. And apparently they did through Freddy. But the problem with that is just that Freddy, he says my friends are down there. And Michael wouldn't have been friends with the victims. Because he was a teenager and they were all kids. Now, granted, he did have to go to Fredbear's a lot. But that was Fredbear's. The killings happened at Freddy Fazbear's Pizza. Which is not where the crying child goes with Michael. But then again, if Michael is the runaway kid, then he did go to FNAF 2 a lot. So maybe his friends are there. So I don't know. Or no, Michael wouldn't have gone to FNAF 2. He would have been an adult by then. Then, I mean, Michael would have he would have run off to the 1985 location. Which, maybe. He would have been pretty old. He would have been like, I don't know, 17, but sure. I mean, if we assume that he's an adult in sister location, which is in 86, right, that, you know, I don't know. I don't think that Michael's in Freddy, just because of that one line, honestly, and the fact that Michael's room from sister location is in security breach, and there's no reason that it should be there unless Michael himself made it, and Michael couldn't have made it if he was stuck in Freddy. I wonder where this goes. This is probably important. Apparently, everybody's been speculating about this secret fourth ending that is in the game files. But it's also in the game files as like blank ending or something, so I doubt it's actually there. But people actually think it exists, and they're looking for it. Which, you know, good for them. Good for them. I hope there's another ending, maybe one that clears some more stuff up. But I feel like everything that could be done has been done. You know, the secret cameras, unlock the scooper ending, doing all the wet floor signs, unlock Spawny. I've 100% of the game and nothing. There's no trophies or anything. Maybe this door opens up because the light is green. Like, I don't know what there is different to do anymore. find this weird that you can like almost go here. Whoa. There's more underground? That's wild. Anyway, theorizing. Yeah, I don't know. There's a lot of different ways this could go. But yeah, the Freddy thing and the shattered animatronics are the two main argument points against my theory. Which I feel like isn't a theory, I just feel like it's fact. To me, it's fact. A lot of people are telling me, no, you're stupid. But to me, it seems so obvious. And maybe it's just because I'm biased, because I never believed the ending to be true and never wanted it to be. But I don't know. Also, there's so much weird stuff involving Baby and Elizabeth, and I just don't understand it. Nobody talks about that. So you got these things. You got Chica's voice box, which doesn't have any kind of description, which I think is odd. The flashlight just goes away, which is weird. People also assume that her dad is dead, just because she says something like, my father used to collect these, and Foxy was his favorite character, or Bonnie was his favorite, something like that. Dad wouldn't tell me, not doesn't, you know, or won't. My dad used to collect these. Bonnie was my dad's favorite, as in he might be dead. And they were like, that could be William, because William's dead. And it's like, yeah, but no, not really. So apparently this says since 1983, which people are trying to say is proof that Freddy's was open. Find Gregory under Roxy Raceway. You're burning up. Is that just because of the burners and you said it's like an oven in here, or I don't know. So yeah, 1983. So people were saying that's proof that Freddy's was open during Fredbear's, which I feel like nobody was disputing. But also, they could just be saying that the whole franchise has been around since that long. Like this, that's where their roots go. You know, they don't necessarily have to be necessarily Freddy Fazbear's, like Fazbear Entertainment, right? It would be like, I don't know, if like Dairy Queen and Orange Julius, right? Orange Julius was first and it turned into Dairy Queen. So it'd be like if Dairy Queen considered their start to be when Orange Julius was created and not actually when Dairy Queen was created, which is probably what they do. They probably say since 19 whatever when Orange Julius was created. Right? That would be like this. That'd be like Fazbear Entertainment saying since 1983 because that's when the first version of it was created, not necessarily the first Freddy's. But maybe, I don't know. It also says old and outdated, but because it says since 1983, we have to assume that it's after that point, right? There's so many. And you got these. I don't understand why there's two of the same ending, and then two of the same ending, and then two of the same ending, and then just one and one. I don't get that. I don't understand why. What is that supposed to be? Is she talking about Burn Trap or the Blob or both? Gregory should be an artist when he grows up. They're not that good, let's be honest. I'm not saying they're bad, but not that good. Freddy is Gregory's favorite, obviously. Gregory was always so creative. Gregory must have seen this mask before. Well, duh. How long is Gregory working on these? It's one of Gregory's comics. You don't have any comment on that one? That's probably like the most disturbing one. These look like Gregory drew them. How do you know? What if somebody was just doing a drawing of Gregory? You know, you don't know. Laugh. Cry. Fun, fun, fun. Sleep. So all of these are her descriptions of the thing, which is interesting, because I don't think in Security Breach, Gregory is the one describing the things. I don't even think they have descriptions. I just think they just say what it is, very robotic like. They're just like, yep, this is a thing. This increases your stamina. This does this. You know, it's not from Gregory's point of view. So this just says laugh. That just says cry. Fun. Sleep. Ahoy. What happened to you? But then it's weird because she doesn't understand what Golden Bonnie is. She says, a prototype, question mark? Like, what? What do you mean? But yet you understand that Glam Bonnie, all it is a golden version of Glam Bonnie. It's all it is, and yet you're questioning it so much. I don't get that. Roxy is your favorite to add to my collection. Doesn't look quite real. Well, none of them do. Superstar. It's hard to look at. Yeah, that one's really glitchy. That one is too. That one is also. But you know, like these, you know, they're pretty okay. That one's pretty okay. Helpy is pretty okay. Bonnie is pretty okay. And you have like these, and they're like, oh, you know, or like these ones. It's like, what the heck happened? Never slept better than I did in the daycare. I used to have so much fun in the daycare. Dad wouldn't tell me why they replaced Bonnie. Because he died. No clue how, but he died. The log ride was so much fun. People are making such a big deal about Foxy having been a character, and I don't understand why. Like, he was shown in Security Breach. You know, like, there was so much Foxy imagery in Security Breach. I don't get why so many people are like, wait a minute, Foxy was an actual character? Like, did you guys forget about Kids Cove or whatever it was called? And it was out of order, or just had the word banned across it? And it was, like, C-based, you know? And then you had pictures of Foxy, like, all over the place, and he was always a pirate. Like, was that not, like, did nobody actually put 2 and 2 together there? I always assumed that Foxy was there, but just like a side attraction, kind of how Monty was before Glamrock Bonnie died, you know? But yeah, something seems to have happened to Foxy and now doesn't exist anymore. Maybe he killed Bonnie. But still, Kids Cove is next to Monty Golf, both of which are on the opposite side of the Pizzaplex from Bonnie Bowl. So I don't know. What's she doing here? This one is so weird. Because Baby is a part of Afton Robotics. Afton Robotics, which opened up Circus Baby's Pizza World, which was a subsidiary to Freddy Fazbear's Pizza, right? They were all owned by Fazbear Entertainment, I think. Possibly. Because they were at least linked because he made Rockstar Chica and Funtime Freddy, or not Rockstar, Funtime Chica, Funtime Freddy, and Funtime Foxy, which he just wouldn't be able to do if he was trying to make his own thing. So it seems, Circus Baby's Pizza World was probably literally the sister location of Freddy Fazbear's. But at the same time, it was open for one day. You know, like, it was open for one day. And somehow, Fazbear LLC was able to, add her to Help Wanted, and in the Night Terrors of all games, which is just weird. And then they had the Plush Baby and the Plushkin patch, which were also really weird. And now you have Cassie, who somehow knows who she is, because she seems to have played that old headset game, right? Which is what the AR Nightmare plush is from. Which means that Nightmare On does not exist, is not canon as an actual entity, but is only from the game. But Baby's not supposed to be here. And she points that out. She's like, what's she doing here? Like, ew, gross. Like, stop. Why? You know what I mean? I don't know. She just, the way it's questioned. It's weird. And you got Helpy. Everybody likes Helpy. This is from that old cartoon. But is the old cartoon Freddy and Friends on tour, or is it Fredbear and Friends? Dad used to collect these. Kids used to put their lunches in these. Bonnie was my dad's favorite. Yeah, was there oh, Jesus Christ. Was there ever anything that came out of the Freddy and Friends on tour cartoon? Like, they all ended with Foxy being unmasked to be an animatronic and then all of them freaking out for some reason. Like, that, I don't know, it just seems weird. I mean, maybe it could be like Afton and how he was actually unmasked to just be the mimic who is an animatronic. Maybe. Michael likes Foxy. Maybe they're revealing Michael to be a robot, Gregory. I don't know. Or just that Michael's Freddy. I have no clue. So yeah, Freddy and Friends on tour is different than Fredbear and Friends, which is the show that Crying Child watched. Filled with Sunny Drop candy, filled with Moon Drop candy, filled with Carrot Drop candy. Guess he replaced more than his teeth. So that must have been the excuse that they gave. They were like, Foxy's got to repair his teeth. He'll be back soon. And then, boom, they just, Roxy came in. Or, no, because Monty came specifically from Bonnie. So I don't know. I wonder why she just says a prototype? Like, what? It's literally, it's just that. Are you telling me that the golden versions are true? Funny, it looks just like the other one. Weird, it looks just like the other one. Not really. They're gold. Like, these ones are the same way. Oh, my bad. Those ones are the same way, so why would you not point it out there? Like, look, that, same thing. This one, and this one, same thing. This just says discontinued. So, like, Baby was an attraction at the Pizzaplex, but then something bad happened and everything stopped. I don't get it. This one's so yellow. Like, the rest of them were kind of, light gold, but this one is so yellow. She just says, a prototype? Question mark? Reminds me of the one in the lobby. I don't get it. Discontinued. Why? So weird. Alright, whatever. We gotta do this. Security protocols deactivated. Are you? Yes, sadly, yes. Hey, Mexis. Hi. Look, he's smiling. He just wants to be my friend. See, what's weird is that he gets trapped in there.
Gregory! Gregory! You okay?
But to me, it almost seems like this is his main base. But he seems like he actively wants to get out. So I don't know. Okay, ready? 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 Wait, I have the mask on.
You saved me. You saved me.
Gregory?
The eye is so freaky.
I'm Gregory.
Oh, but it's wearing the mascot costume.
You're not Gregory. What are you?
I'm Gregory. Cassie! Get out of here! Run!
Is there just no way to see him normally ever again? That kind of sucks. I wish you could run during this,
Cassie, can you hear me?
but you can't.
Gregory? Is that really you? I mean, really you?
I've been trying to reach you all night. I'm not at the Pizzaplex. Something's trying to trick you.
Something.
Wait. This thing in the basement sounds just like you. How do I know this is you for real?
Is there another option? You need to get out of there now.
How?
My friend has access to the building map. Just follow his instructions.
You know, he could have just said my instructions and Didn't have to static it out, but whatever. So apparently it's a lion and 2 other suits. Oh, I'm not wearing the mask anymore.
Go right. It's right behind you.
I find it weird that the mimic just doesn't catch me when I turn to look at the sign.
Go right. Right. Hurry.
Hold on, buddy. I need to do something.
I'm okay. I found a spot to hide.
Why helpy? Why helpy? Like, why not a Freddy head, right? Why not a Freddy head? Why helpy? I don't get it. I don't know. It's weird. And it just kind of ends. It's so weird. Well, I don't know. But I've been streaming for an hour. That's good enough for me. I'm sure I'll figure this out eventually.